Hello everyone and welcome back to my Cities Skylines II series, where we are, well, just trying to relax ultimately. Last time where we left off, we had started to fill in all these empty gaps here. So there's quite a bit of area where our citizens can build their houses. We currently do not have any demand for this stuff here, but we do have some industry demand, so I would say we're going to expand in this direction. Walking distance to elementary school is pretty bad. That is probably because we do not have any elementary schools in there. I think we're going to extend this, leave this city complex here for more, well, city center, city services, I want to say. And we're going to add our elementary school and immediately the high school over in this direction. So we do have some medium density housing filling in here. We do have some commercial areas over here. We do have the industry part here, but I'm not too worried about this. This should be, in a sense, far enough away so that we don't need to worry too much for our school kids. So I'm gonna make a little bit more space over here and then smooth out this area just to make it look a little bit nicer. I know it is the middle of the night to build, and notoriously City Skyline 2 has a very dark night, but I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. So it is a corner building, our elementary school, which I quite like. We're gonna put that just right here. And then we are going to place our high school actually right next to it. I think this will look quite nice. And then we're going to connect a path through there ultimately in the long run. We might actually place it closer to, no, we're going to put it on the road as well. And then later on, we do have the chance to put a path through here, maybe a little alleyway. Could consider putting a little bit of parking in the back. Although I don't quite know if we need that. I think in the long run, maybe like a sports park in the back where both of these schools can benefit from would be quite good. Because at the moment, none of them have a gym or anything of that sort. We do have extension wings for the high school. Oh, gym extension, so we can actually put this in. And I could see it being a shared asset between both the elementary school and the high school. Let's actually see if our elementary school also has a gym area, so maybe we will not put both of them in, but we will see as things move along. We are now bleeding money, so let's look at our taxation rates. They're still at 10% everything, so we're gonna increase all of these to 12%, not too high. But I do think we need to focus on additional income sources, income streams for our community. So we are already exporting electricity up here, but what else can we actually put down? So we do have a decent amount of fertile land. We do have a bit of wood that we could use for the wood industry. In terms of stone, we could actually very easily extend this from here and start harvesting the stone over there, or do the same with coal. So stone, I think, is mostly used for our citizens to build their houses with, and I don't actually want that stone, that coal to be this close to our city. So we are going to put our stone quarry down here, and just going to extend that area. Try to make this kind of look something more naturally grown, just in this direction. So there are a few trees in the way, which is good. It will kind of block the view. And in the long run, what we're going to assume is this quarry is actually going to start mining away this hill, which will then allow us to expand our city on the other side in later episodes. Right, so this is in, but we, like I said, we should consider putting more industry overall into our area. I think we also had not put in our landfill ultimately. So So maybe we'll focus on that next, because our citizens will produce garbage, and right now I think we're... Oh no, we have put in our landfill, it's over here. So my bad. So the question is, what comes next? How else can we make money? We can expand our power production and sell this overall. Could just put a few more of the wind turbines up here. I could see this being quite a good utility, again, to just export more for our electricity. But let's actually see what we're actually selling. So we're actually making money from the water, which is great, and definitely from the electricity. So $31,000 we're currently earning, based on 4 wind turbines. So I think expanding this, and maybe we should do this right away, makes, again, like a lot of sense. So we're gonna put one over here, leave a little bit of space in between, as we will utilize that area up here for an additional farm. And we can actually put this much closer now to the road, so we're also going to do that. And just need to connect these wind turbines up with our power grid. We're going to put a straight line in there. And in addition, we do need more of our road system, dirt road system. Just going to use this part here, bring it up there, and then turn it at a 90-degree angle to move basically over here. And then just with a slight angle right in front of our wind turbine. Now we can bring this a bit closer as well, kind of like a little stub, although that doesn't look too good, to be honest. And this is kind of getting a little bit too far away, so it doesn't really make sense. But let's assume this is, in a sense, enough for people to get close to the wind turbine and then start to utilize that area. So we have just reached the next milestone, the large village, which is great. But the big question is, what needs do we have that we haven't fulfilled yet? We don't have any police, we don't have any fire departments. And I think both of them, at least the fire department, would make a lot of sense if we have this much closer to our industry area, because I could see them, or fires breaking out over here a little bit more. Alternatively, we could just put it on this road, even though there's quite a bit of traffic here. So maybe a more dedicated area to have our fire department sort of come off from would be beneficial. We could also place it here. It is pretty close to that collector, so it should be pretty fast in getting it into our industrial area. You know what? We're just gonna do that. We're gonna place this here. It is more of a... I should have actually looked. Which one did I actually place? I put in probably the very basic one, where I kind of want to actually use the German one. So after wasting a lot of money, let's remove this. And wait until we put our... we can actually immediately put our fire department in there. And just make it line up so that it becomes a corner building over here. Because I think that will look nice overall. So we do have our fire department in here, and I think in terms of size this looks much better. And blends in a little bit better with our environment. We do need a bit more industry. Like we've said before, we have filled in this stone quarry, but it's not gonna cut it. We're gonna add a little bit of industry area here and here, just so overall this can expand. The next thing, we do have now this overall this part here that we created. And I think I'm gonna call a mulligan on this. Yeah, I've watched City Planner plays quite a bit, so we're also calling mulligans, and we're just going to have our road come from here, and with a relatively smooth transition, hopefully, move this into the road that we had built over here. So having done all of this, I am going to remove this stub here, and we're going to try to re-implement that connection from this road to our wind turbine. Again, this is not really necessary, but I do like this to make it a bit easier in theory if there was any utility company that needs to access these to actually get closer to the wind turbines. So the next thing we're going to put in is more industry. We do have, what do we have here actually? So this is a livestock farm. So I think vegetables make a lot of sense now. All right, so we're gonna place it here and just expand it around, trying to get as close as we can to our wind turbines, just to ultimately utilize the land a little bit better. And I think we're going to expand this actually all the way to this roundabout here. Well, not all the way, but very close to it. And sort of wrap it around these as well. We have one here. We don't have another one over there. So I think just gonna connect it like this. Leave a little bit of a gap for potential future detailing, but we'll see how this goes. I do need to turn off all the snapping. I realized I should have done this in the last game that we played as well, but completely forgot that I could actually do this. So we're going to stay relatively close and again wrap our way all around here as well. Try to, this time, let's actually see how this looks. Very closely hug this wind turbine and then follow that road really closely to then ultimately connect up here and finish building our vegetable farm. Great. And I do like, actually I like this way of planting it a lot more than the square one. So maybe in the future we will actually keep doing this. So we do have vegetables in here now, and let's keep expanding this part. Just plant our corn or grain. Should actually keep looking at the slope that we have here, and that I think, you know what, it will be okay. Overall, it will be okay. So we're actually not placing these because I think we're going to add more wind turbines up here once we have a bit more money. Just kind of filling it all up because, like I said, we do want to create a little bit of a wind farm up here. So we're going to connect all of this up, have paths going around it, and then put our farm in the middle to fill around the wind turbines with fields. This is something that you see quite often, well, abroad at least, not necessarily here, but I think it will look very nice. We do have still a significant amount of industry demand, so right now I'm just going to fill this area up here and sort of expanding our industry park over there. And I think in the long run we want to move over on this part. Although we could potentially consider... Nah. I was wondering if we should put a harbor basically on this side, but I don't think this makes sense, especially not if we have such a relatively wide and open access area to the water over here. Alright, make sure that we speed up the game so we can, you know, keep expanding. There's still these medium density houses filling in, and I will actually replace these areas here with the German medium density housing as well, just to make that entire area look a bit more cohesive. So unfortunately we are kicking people out, and I don't remember if they finally fixed that bug. Well, not this, I guess bug you can call it, where there's a bunch of homeless people once you tear down houses. I hope they did, because otherwise we'll have a lot to deal with basically. Alright, so in addition, we don't have any money. Oh, we're already in the negative. Excellent. So let's see, we could take a loan, don't want to take a loan, but we are going to expand our industrial zone. Just like that. And, well, not expand, like increase the taxes for our industrial zone. We're still losing a lot of money. Why are we all of a sudden losing so much money? Maybe it's the school system. So let me look into services, because road services, we're actually reducing that to almost nothing. Can reduce this to 80%, although I don't like to reduce healthcare, because in the long run it won't be great. The biggest expensive was actually our educational system. So, and that's probably where this came from. Also reducing our fire department costs, and now we're making money again. Not a lot, but you know, overall a little bit. People seem to be still okay. Walking distance to elementary school is not great. It's not that far, to be honest. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Considering let's actually try to measure the distance for this. From here to here, it is 420 miles. That's a quarter of 420 meters. That's a quarter of a mile. I think that is walkable from anywhere in town, right? So they should not complain about this. So what else do we have? Unreliable healthcare coverage, that makes sense. We just reduced it. The high taxes are complained, which again also makes sense. We are getting a bit more medium density demand, which is actually quite nice. And I think we're going to replace this low density area with more medium density housing, because everything else seems to have filled in already. Just looking what they're doing over here. Now this looks a bit funky. I could see this technically being the case, but overall you would hope it's not quite. Now these are actually unrealistic. Why did it not stay on the... Do I need to? Why is it now kicking me out of my bulldozer every time I bulldoze something? Weird. Alright, so hopefully this will fill in. This looks more like a corner building, so I'm hoping this will be alright. And we might be like going through this in the long run to kind of fix this. Is this already the German medium density housing? I don't think so, so we will replace that probably in a little bit. But overall, I think we're kind of getting there. What would be nice in the long run is to take these middle 3 areas and turn them into something more civil service or like general community areas. So we will keep our healthcare system basically focused over here, but we will very likely expand in these directions. And then ultimately, at some point, remove the low density housing from here. And I could see this becoming more of a high density area, maybe some of those medium density areas as well, but you know, we'll work on it. So now we are making a grand an hour, which, you know, overall not too bad. We do have still quite a few people moving in, and we do have demand for more low density building, more low density housing, not buildings. So let's figure out where we could place them. And I think maybe now it's time to expand on the other side of this collector, even though it will bring us further away from our elementary school and high school. But overall, I think it just makes a lot of sense. So we're going to connect this in the middle here, and we don't have actually any money to build it. So currently we're just waiting for all of this to come in. What could have happened, and I should have checked earlier, that the wind actually went down and therefore our electricity production went down. So something again to just keep in mind, that we want to look into this. So what else can we do? We've built or expanded a little bit our industrial side of things, and I do want to create more income streams for our city. So let's look again at this. We could put more of our farming area into this corner. I don't think we will do this. Oh, we already reached the next milestone. Great. Because now that means we do have finally some more money, but we also have some criminal activity. So, meaning we do need to put in, oh, the German police station is cheap enough. We can actually put this in. We're going to place it just over here. I think that will be okay. They should have access to everything pretty fast. Could alternatively put it here. And you know what? Maybe we will put it here. Although I can't seem to get it to snap onto this road. Now let's put all of this back on, and it doesn't want to do it. So let's instead... Oh, there we go. All right, we're gonna put it actually right at the beginning. And then we're also going to put in some of our office buildings. They should help us with our financial burden. We're going to keep this like an office strip. We're already completely used up our office demand, which I guess is fair enough. But we do have some more housing demands, so we are going to expand our road system over here. Just connect this into this direction, maybe just to this road here, and then down here. So, because we now have some high density demand, which translates here into low rent housing. I wish we had the other housing options, but overall this will do, and we're just gonna fill all of this up. I want you to build this consistently. Why aren't you doing that? Alright, you know what, let's try to expand this. Maybe they put a bigger building over there. Could also expand these a little bit more, have them go out a bit further. Anyways, we do have a lot of our, wow, that is a big building. We do have our high density demand completely filled up. So we are going to add more of our low density housing now that we've created this little area here. And we're also going to, for now, just connect this over here. Now we are out of money, so we're not doing that. Why are we, again, like super high in the negative? I haven't actually... It is the wind farms. It must be the wind farms. Electricity production... Nope, can't be, apparently. So, again, not entirely sure where we go up and down with our finances. Are we selling this? I actually don't know, so let's have a look. Taxation, we can leave the offices here. Yeah, this won't, I mean, that's 1,000, which is not too bad. Let's try to put our commercials up and our offices up just by 1%. Lack of entertainment is the big downside. So they do want a park, but we don't have money on the park, for a park. We are losing about $1,000 an hour now. I'm hoping we can kind of figure this out and get it back up. Which I think is in part because we have put in our police station. So this seems to be relatively stable. So instead of trying to figure all of this out, how about we actually put in some more of our medium density housing by removing the low density housing over there. And what we also should be looking at is into services, because our police is using up quite a bit and we don't need 100% right now, so we're going to turn this down, and that should hopefully get us back in the positive. 300 negative per hour, it is going down a little bit. Slowly, but it is, which is good. And a little bit more industry demand, so we're going to place a little bit more industry over here. And again, I keep stressing this, but we're not afraid to remove some of our industries or some of our zoning at any given point, basically, and replace it with something, I don't want to say more meaningful or more appropriate. So these low-rent housing options over here don't actually look too bad. They're right next to the highway. But I think that is why these would be low rent housing options. Oh, we're losing still like a lot of money, 200 per hour. So what else can we do? We have, in a sense, reduced our costs overall. Let's look into the taxation bit again. Maybe we're actually going to reduce this back because we do want additional growth. Now we're losing 1,000 an hour, and let's see what we can do over here. Could increase the service fees over here. If we do that and put this to 120%, people very likely are going to complain. High water fees, high electricity fees, but overall they seem like average happiness. So instead, I'm going to slow this down. This is the last thing we're going to do. We are actually going to take a loan. I'm trying to avoid this, but let's say $100,000. Shouldn't be that much. Monthly cost $4,000. And then we are actually going to put in some parks. So we do want to have a small plaza. I could see this being here, like, well, right next to our hospital, sort of a little bit of a recreational area. So overall that I think is really good. We also want to put in some playgrounds. And the first place where we are going to put this is actually right next to our elementary school, because again, this makes sense. And I'm not facing it on Coleridge Street, but on the small side street, what is it, Crest Street, that is where our elementary school is at. So we do have a small playground over here. And we're also going to add a small playground just behind our hospital. And then in addition, we are gonna add a dog park closer to our low rent housing area, and that will actually fit in quite nicely to sort of match this up right next to the highway. There is a gate around it, or like some fencing around it, so I'm not too worried that dogs might jump over or people might be running in when we're this close to the highway. So we're still losing $1,500 it is dollars, right? Well, not dollars, but anyways, 1,500 per month. But the happiness is now increasing. We do have an abundance of entertainment, which is great. Walking distance to elementary school is still not that high, but overall I think it'll be fine. Now we do have landmarks, but definitely no money to actually put in landmarks. We have, however, people moving in, and I think this will help us balancing out our budget here. So what else can we do? I think, actually I'm slowing this down, we need to expand forward, which means we want to place some more of the wind turbines. I am trying to place one relatively close to here. Actually placing it right next to the road. And then we're going to place another one. I want to keep this area a bit freer. Maybe we can? No, we can't. This would be kind of the closest place where we can go. But overall, this could also work. We can put a road over here and put our secondary farm on this side. Maybe even actually have it swing around this way and connect it up with this road down here. So this is kind of as close as we get to both of these. And we are going to put in a road, not this road, but our dirt road to get this closer. It's still not connected, not a problem. We're going to go underground and just connect this up. And this way we have a bit more electricity production. We are actually losing now more money. So let's see if we can't put in another farming area. So we do have vegetables, we do have livestock. So let's do not vegetables. We just said we have this already. So let's, oh, this actually, I thought this would block us from doing this, but apparently we can even put this over here. I'm just going to quickly place this just to make sure we can put the road in before we're fully out of money. And then we're going to relatively smoothly move this in here. All right, this way we do have our grain farm, another money producer in our city. And the last thing I'm going to do today is just expand our farming area over here. We are going to bring this over relatively close to our wind turbine. I'm just going to add a bunch more nodes so I can hopefully do this a little bit quicker. I'm going to place this here, this over here, one more here. Again, sort of just making our way around our wind turbine, kind of hugging it as well. Going to get close to the road, but not too close. Want to leave a little bit of space. Not that we are going to use that space for anything anytime soon, but overall, I think it's a good starting point to have our production basically increased to like relatively high levels. All right, we're going to do the same over here. And I need to expand this a little bit out there, and that was too far. So we're going to do this, and let's see how far we can go from here. Actually all the way to there, which is great. Going to add need to add a node here, and then we can sort of pull this out and start filling up this area here. Again, just trying to increase overall how much space we're using up here around the wind turbines. While our animals might not be too keen on the noise that these make, for our crops it should actually not matter at all. I think so, at least. Then again, I've never really checked or tried to read up on this, so maybe I'll try to do this you know, later on in my free time. So let's get this a bit closer. Now we're almost all the way around this, which is great. Can move this a little bit further in, just like that, and then continue sort of hugging again our wind turbine and expanding the farmland over here. And we're gonna leave it as a little bit of an odd shape and might fill in that part over here later. But with that, we have put in our farm. And I'm trying to not make these videos too long, so I'm gonna leave it at that. We have expanded our population. We still have a bit more demand, which we'll work on in the next episode. But most importantly, we have created additional jobs and additional venue streams of revenue that our community can actually use. With just over 4,000 people living in here, I think we're still on a good track, even though we are still losing $600 per hour, but we will definitely balance this out in the next episode. So thank you everyone for joining, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.